Liberal Viewer presents.
So yeah, I want to show one clip from Clarissa Ward talking about how it looks like Iraq might break apart, which some people predicted a long time ago. I'll talk about that a little more after I show that clip here.
That is what's so desperately scary. And when you talk to Iraqis and to politicians here, all of them have the same fears, whether they're Sunnis or Shiites. They fear that this country is breaking apart in a way that is irretrievable. And of course, that's particularly frightening because it's a conflict that really threatens to consume the entire region. We could literally see all of the borders of this region be redrawn around sectarian lines.
I think it is the fault of George W. Bush for going in and toppling Saddam Hussein and leaving this big power vacuum without a plan. And I want to show Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, and he made the point on Meet the Press that it's not really lack of troops or money that caused this problem, because we put in huge amounts of troops and money for many years, and if troops and money were to solve this problem, we would have solved it, as you can see him say over on NBC's Meet the Press this morning here.
I think that basically we have to send a very clear signal. You intend to do America or any Americans harm, we will bring a ring of fire that you've never ever could have imagined upon you. But for us to go in and try to occupy and change the culture of these countries, we have not done a good job. We are not good at that. If it was military might or money that would change that part of the world, we'd have done it by now, David. And that's not going to happen. But make no mistake, you intend to do harm to America or Americans, we're going to come after you. We're going to bring a ring of fire on you. You hoped it never happened.
So yeah, I think that's also a good point from Democratic Senator Joe Manchin on Meet the Press about how this is not a problem that could be solved with troops or with money, because if it could be, then the amount that we've spent would have solved it by now. And you will be able to see down in the video description a link to a video I made back in January 2007. I think it's called Should U.S. Just Threaten to Get Out of Iraq? I was watching it earlier today. It's kind of funny because there's a screenshot of the January 2007 YouTube video player page, which looks so different. And I basically talked about how the real solution, we needed to withdraw in such a way that we set up a regional conference to redraw the map along ethnic lines, which, you know, that's one of the big problems here is the countries in the Middle East were drawn up by European powers at the end of World War I. It was like France and England had the Sykes-Picot Accord, where they set up their regions of influence and drew all the boundaries, and it was in violation of what should have been the American position was President Woodrow Wilson's 14 points, and I make that point in my video.
What the Middle East needs right now is something like the Congress of Vienna in Europe a couple hundred years ago that was partially successful in redrawing the map of Europe to redress European ethnic conflicts. And we could update our 21st century Congress of Vienna for the Middle East with Wilsonian principles of democracy and human rights from the 20th century. And speaking of Wilsonian principles of democracy, I thought it relevant to remember that point number 12 of Wilson's 14 points promised that the Turkish portion of the present Ottoman Empire should be assured a secure sovereignty, but the other nationalities which are now under Turkish rule should be assured an undoubted security of life and an absolutely unmolested opportunity of autonomous development. And for those who don't remember, here is a map of the Ottoman Empire that President Woodrow Wilson was talking about.
Maybe even the Middle East should be split up in a new way based on the the desires of the people who live there. And so I want to make that point regarding the way it's breaking up now into these sort of ethnic and religious sectarian lines. But I want to know what you think. Will the different ethnic and religious groups in Iraq remain united in one country? And beyond Iraq, do the people in the Middle East deserve Wilsonian autonomous self-determination, including through the redrawing of national borders?
YouTube, you decide.